Hey Applovers, thanks for joining again. Today we're going to talk about three major subjects. Number one, how much time does an app take to develop? Number two, what are those important milestones that we need to consider? Number three, what is the real cost behind it? I know we talked a little bit about cost, but we're going to try to dig in a little more into that. Number one, how much time does an app take to develop? There's a lot of parts into app construction that you need to take into account. And an important factor of this is, of course, the development of the application itself. However, we're not talking about marketing, value, the content, and so forth. No, we're only talking about the app development process, right? So we have in that same in that workflow, we have multiple important stages that need to be addressed. So for example, the fact that you're going to develop the mobile application, you need to decide what technology you're going to use. Once you've decided what type of technology you're going to go with, you need to also understand what type of app you're going to develop. If it's going to be a data-driven application, or a business application, or maybe a functionality application, or even a game application. Once you have that part, you need to start understanding how your users are going to interact with your mobile app. In that case, you need to include a design team to really drive the design and the interface and the user experience of your app to the next level. What back-end integrations you have to do. If you're going to connect your app to methods of payments via APIs, or if it's going to be connected to a database for authentication. You also have to think about the data management and the security behind your mobile app. How is it going to be secure? What type of information are you going to be capturing from your users? What if it's going to be sensible data, if it's confidential, if it's going to be a private app, an external app? How does that work? You need to really understand that part. And then finally, testing for quality and assurance. Every time that you have an app update or you have an app feature development, you're going to update your app and it's going to probably have some bugs and so forth. So you're going to constantly have to test for quality and assurance to make sure that your application is delivered with the quality mark that you want. So it's important to have this part of the development team as well. So now that we saw these 5 major points, which are the technology stack you're going to use, the design methodology that you're going to work with, the back-end integrations that your app has to have, the data and security subjects that you need to address, and finally the testing and quality assurance. It's super important. So these are 5 huge pillars of your development process that are going to help you define how much time it's going to take. Now we pass on to the second point, which is what are those important milestones? You can approach a development project based on multiple methodologies. And depending on the methodologies that you have, you can create different milestones. It could be an MVP, it could be a feature release, it could be a specific interface integration that you're doing, a backend integration, it can be anything. It depends on you and your team. But once you define those, it's going to be important that you add them to the project timeline in order to maintain your roadmap estimation and really push to have that in the time that you estimated. Finally, for the third point, how much is this going to cost? So we need to go back a bit and remember the first point we were treating was what technology stack are we going to use? So this is an extremely important question to answer in order to calculate the development cost. You already have the timing, you already have the milestones, so you really need to understand is with who are you going to work with. It could be a team outsourced in India, it could be a team outsourced in the US and Eastern Europe, it depends. And depending on where you choose, obviously the price is going to fluctuate. So you really need to understand what is the best scenario for you. So depending on the region that you choose to work, that's going to help you define a little bit your price. But having a clear estimation on how many functionalities, what technology, what type of design, and so forth, this is going to give you a rough estimation. And that's going to be all for today. I know that there's probably some unanswered questions and we're going to continue addressing them during the following videos. I'm going to try to introduce how we can break down existing apps in order to better understand and illustrate what we're talking about now. If you guys have any questions, please like, please follow, drop me a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what is what is the most difficult part of an app development project that you've experienced, or that you've heard of. What is something that's not so clear for you? How can we help? Just drop me a comment, send me a private message. We're more than happy to have a chat and to help. Keep tuned for the next videos and take care. Bye bye.